I'll go ahead and call the Budget Committee to order.
Mine's got minutes.
Did we pass out the
Yeah,
minutes?
yeah, I'm sorry.
He's been writing.
I was looking at everybody else's paper, not mine. Miss Lisa, if you don't mind, we'll send it around to my friends here. I'll just go ahead and comment from that discussion we had at law enforcement with budget time. I've been through 35 on this budget time. We're getting close.
Good.
Usually the fights like this occur about a week before, but they just start a little early. But it's budget time.
Fine, it's getting a little bit.
Just, well, you know what I mean.
Yeah, we know.
Just, main thing is, we used to go to the fair and everything worked out.
Yep.
Yep.
Get the pencil in the pocket.
Yep.
Check. I'm glad. I'm glad we did.
Well, we did,
Get
but
it
we had a
done.
little money, but you know, we could afford to be out the fair about 1 o'clock in the morning.
You're the one
I
that
guess
the
statute of
budget.
limitation to run right now, Diane's daddy was in on
Pencil in the
Back in the
pocket.
plastic.
Check, check.
Okay, we do have a set of minutes for April 4th.
Motion to approve, second.
I have a motion and a second to approve. Is there any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, Aaron, what you go?
Just one real quick thing on your finance report. If you look over on page 4, it looks like we're at, that would be a profit, that 1.5 million. There is 3.8 million that we've approved the transfer from Fund 151 on page 3. Under transfers in, we still got 3.8 million on the budget that we haven't actually transferred in yet. So where we're actually sitting right now is about 5.3 million. Again, May and June both, we're gonna go in the red. That's the way the budget process works. We know that, our revenue collection cycle. But that is in line with where I anticipated we should be. So, other than the things that we always say, adequate facilities tax is down, sales tax is sort of in a flat kind of situation. Nothing else really in the finance report that I need to bring to your attention, other than Tommy, I will see to it that the red reappears on the fund balance page. Going to budget amendments?
Yes, sir.
Okay. First one is for animal control. They're requesting to transfer funds for travel and trailer drop-off and pickup. So they're adding the travel, taking it out of food and supplies and utilities.
So moved.
Second. I have a motion and a second. Any questions? Comments? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
The second one is for the PEG channel. That is transferring money into the part-time personnel line to pay for people who are currently running the PEG station. This will get flipped back in the regular budget. This is just a temporary stopgap measure until we get a director in place a new year.
So moved.
Second. We have a motion and a second. Is there any questions or concerns? All in favor say aye. Any opposed? Okay.
Next one, Chief Howell just explained if you were in here. This is commissary proceeds that are being used for medical and dental services for inmates.
So moved.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Any questions?
Mayor, real quick, have we heard anything from Bandy?
We have. They did have a good meeting, Scott told me yesterday. They got another one coming up, so that was it.
Looking
Probably
better,
check
maybe?
them.
Don't
Hope
know.
so, yeah. I know Commissioner McFarland doing some other stuff too, so keep up with it. Yeah. But it's making some progress.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Stormwater is requesting to transfer funds out of rentals and into other supplies and materials to equip a truck with lights, toolbox, and decals.
So moved.
Second.
A motion and a second. Any questions or concerns? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Ag Extension is requesting a 60-month lease on a copier.
So moved.
Second.
It is 109.19, actually, that one's 189.52, I'm sorry, I've already clicked on the next one.
Heard a motion, is there a second?
Second.
Okay. All in favor say aye. Any opposed? Okay.
County Clerk's Office is requesting a 60-month lease on a copier, 109.19 a month.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Any questions? All in favor say aye. Any opposed? Okay.
And the Finance Department is a postage machine for 63 months, $228 a month.
Motion.
Second.
Okay. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay.
The grant for animal control, and I may have to ask you, Wendell, I remember hearing about this, but it was $900 and it was vaccines. And if I remember right, based on the last page in here, they were wanting to put this in the Gretchen Wilson Save a Life Fund?
Yes.
Okay, so they don't need to spend this money? Or-
No.
No,
No, they got, the grant was for 300 parvo vaccines, and then they got a $900 check that they can basically use for anything that's health related, including they could do like a community chip event.
okay.
So that's where they wanted to put the money.
So we're not gonna spend this money, we're just going to basically bank it in the Gretchen Wilson Save a Life Fund. So all I need you to do really is approve the grant.
So moved.
Second.
Have a motion and a second to approve the grant. Any questions? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
So there won't be any line, budget amendment that just approving the grant. Suits me.
And then Miss Lisa?
Document 2024-11. I received Tennessee Risk Management payments for claims, revenue, according to revenue, and then the expenditure line items that I paid those claims from. Second one's to adjust our budget to actual, to make sure we won't go over any line items. Next one is our innovative school model, is a state grant that we received for CTE. This is a revision that our director has made in E-Plan, and so this is just bringing it to Permians to go into our system. And then the last one is for our child nutrition. We've got increased food costs, so we're increasing that line item. We actually received a grant from USDA for that revenue.
Is there a motion to
Motion
approve?
to approve.
Second.
Motion and second. Any questions? All in favor say aye. Any opposed?
And the last thing we have, I guess, is.
No, there's one more.
Oh, sorry, I'm so sorry.
2024-12, this is our summer learning grant. It's also a state grant that we received that is broken down into a summer learning camp and a summer learning transportation for the students, transportation for the students. So this recording revenue and the expenditures that we go
So moved.
Have a motion and a second. Any questions? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay.
I don't know if I'm supposed to trim this.
Before you go to that one, we
Yeah.
had one litter grant for the sheriff's department. Lance said a while ago, and I've already done the resolution, you don't have it, $78,000. We
$78,000?
approve it every year, it's a state grant,
Okay.
no match.
All right, I don't know how we didn't have it. Okay,
You wanted to approve.
okay.
It did go through committee, right?
It did.
It did.
Yeah, motion approved.
Second.
Have a motion and a second to approve the $78,000 litter grant. All in favor say aye. Any opposed? Okay.
Mayor, are you taking this one, or is Ashley, or who's taking this one?
Well, I think we've all met on the multi-level court system. Ashley's here. If you have any questions about the bond, he prepared the bond in case you wanted to consider it tonight. Jason Morris is here in case you have any questions about the building itself. We had a workshop the other night, and thing that was talked about there was parking, and we kind of addressed that at that time, and then also purchasing those houses back there. I reached out to Mike Jennings after the workshop and said, is there a way that I could go ahead and just talk to those people before, but I need your permission to negotiate prices. He said that was okay. We talked to everybody back there except for one person that owns 2 houses and one other person. The rest of them are willing to sell. They said they would think about it and get back with me with a price. So that's kind of, that's close to where we are on that piece. I think we talked about if we were, and the way I approached them was this way. I said that we were going to build a multi-level court system there. Everybody knows that. We bought the property a long time ago, and that was the intent at the time to do that. And that we was going to put a parking lot down in the grassy area. We could consider putting a multi-level parking garage there, or the commissioner said, hey, what do you think about those houses behind? And so I told them I would check and see. So they know that it's not a have to sell. They don't want to sell, they don't have to, or that I gotta have it no matter what, because we can go down below. So they, most of them felt like that if they could sell it for, they could buy another house and continue to have that income coming in. That's probably what, that was kind of the route they were gonna ask on the price wise. So I'll get those prices, if this committee will give me the authority to negotiate, I'll get those prices together and bring them back to you to let you know what those options are. With that being said, when I talked to Ashley about the bids, about the bond, I said, hey, the bond is $81,638,000, I think is the right number on that, if you were to do all 4 of the alternates. We know we'll get some money back from the proceeds, because they always, at the day of the sale, say, well, we're going to sell it for this, interest rates are going to be this, and we'll make some interest money. So sometimes he always asks us, do we want to back that out of that $81,638 and lower it, since we're going to gain some interest money off of it to equal the same amount of money, or do we want to keep it? So at that time, we can consider that on that date, but that extra will be there. And then I talked to Jason, you guys already paid either $820 or $850 up front to do the plans. That was figured in the $81,638, so we'll get that back too, because we've already paid that, so we won't pay it again. So the 84 is what I asked him to do, which gives me about 3.5 extra, 3.5 million extra. So that if those houses come in under that, if we take that money and buy those houses and save whatever we can save and borrow what we need to actually borrow at the day of the borrowing. Or if they don't work, you got 3.5 million there to build the second layer down below, which adds you 90 more parking spots. So it's built in there, and then what you approve tonight is up to on the actual day of the sale, and that would be if you decide to approve it tonight, it goes to the county commission. Then once that's done, we gotta run it 20 days. So before, in the paper, just let everybody know, and then after that is when the bonds actually sell. So we have time to negotiate those prices, find out exactly how much money we need, if we need all the 84, if we don't. So that is, it's kind of the short version.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All right, what is your motion, Tommy? Are you approving him to negotiate?
Well, yeah, I'll make both of them, as far as that goes, but I guess the first one you need is to issue a bond for not to exceed 84 million, correct?
Correct. And use the
And
3.5.
give him authority to negotiate for that property.
You want to include it all in one?
I don't see why not, it's up to you,
No. I write it any way you say it, but I don't see the problem.
because he's just negotiating, we're not agreeing to purchase anything.
I tell you, he's gonna score his dollar.
And then he wrote the bond so that there's money left over and we needed to renovate the station at 109 or whatever. We've been working on some of that, or you want to spend on any government other building, you could do that. Again, it's got to come to you to get permission to do that, but if there's anything out there,
Spell it out.
there's some money there. So if money's left over, that's a route you can go with that. You have leeway. Yes, sir.
Has the project been approved completely? The building of the building, like the purchase of all the properties and the building of the building, the 84 million, 84 million,
That's what we're doing right now.
1,000 million, or whatever we're looking at. Has it been approved, the whole project?
No, sir, you know, we had the workshop.
Right.
With the three different groups, and we had the workshop after that, so we've had that discussion. So here is kind of the next step towards it. So if this group approves that, then it'll come to you next on the commission board. Now, as far as if you're asking, have the judges and everybody signed off on that? Yes, sir.
But it hasn't been approved by the commission as an official
No,
project.
No, you're gonna have that option.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
That'll be included as a part of the bond. You vote for the bond to approve the project.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yep, yep.
We have a motion and a second. Any other questions? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay.
I'll work on that piece.
What's the second piece of
What
paper?
is the second?
So it's the initial resolution, it's a one pager, that's what will be published in the newspaper, and then you have the detailed resolution, so they'll be passed, each one separately.
So they're
It's
passed
a full
separately.
commission, and full
At
commission.
full
At the full
commission.
commission.
I just included them all
That's
in
right.
Tommy's motion, if that's all right. 2 resolutions and approval to negotiate.
Okay, is there anything else that needs to come up before the budget committee?
I would address two things if I can. One, when you were talking about how much money we send to schools, what she was trying to say was that our tax rate is $1.90. We send 81 cents, if I'm correct, Aaron. 81 cents goes to school out of the $1.90, so it's less than half. The federal and the state dollars that come through here, we don't have a say-so whether we do what we, now they are our dollars because we all pay those kind of taxes to make those things happen. But when you look at the amount of taxes that me and you collect here out of the people, they get 81 cents out of the $1.90 that we collect.
But that's property taxes.
That's
Our
property
local
taxes.
taxes, yeah.
Yes, sir, that's our
Our
taxes.
budget's based on everything that goes into that budget, and not just the school, but everybody's budget. My question, my problem is that when you look, when we got law enforcement getting somewhere around 3% of our total budget, it just makes it difficult for us to have too much room to move right there. That's my point.
So Aaron, you can tell him this better than I can. Our total budget is 450?
Yeah, 430, 420, 430, something like that.
430 million.
Yeah.
And then the school's budget is
209.
It's 209, so it's half. So I don't know where the 3% comes from, but the.
Well,
but
just,
it's
I think
half
what
of
he's
that.
doing is looking at the sheriff's department budget divided by the budget as a whole. So if you take the 400 and something million and divide it by 20 million that the sheriff's department gets, or whatever that number is.
Okay, I got it. I just tried to help on that. And I want, just to address the pay issue, I will not be long, I promise. And I do appreciate, and me and Commissioner Chandler have talked about this, and me and Commissioner Kurtz have argued about it. And we only did that because I had just heard rumblings that, hey, look, we're going to pass maybe a certain percentage for one department. In this case being the sheriff's department. And I appreciate the passion. I know that's what you do for a living. I know you're on that committee and you should be representing. I have no problem there. And I think we can say as a body that we do care about our employees. And the reason that we put in the step system was because before the employees came last and the needs came first. And I was living that in 2010. And so since then, and I'll send you all this, because I shared that with Commissioner Chapman, because I said, hey, I ain't gonna talk about this without talking to him first. But in 2012, you gave a $1,200 stipend to everybody that year. You didn't have enough for a bonus, but that's when we started saying, let's do something for employees. So in 2012, you gave $1,200 a one-time bonus. That's $600,000. In 13-14, you did a 2.5% pay increase across the board. That's $413,000. In 2015, you gave a 2% across the board, $376,000. And the pay plan then got started in 2016. And what we said in the pay plan was simply this, is that our people selling tags in Wilson County was just as good as the people selling tags in Williamson, or our deputies across the board. And so we said, compare our people to their people. So that's what the pay plan did. It compared them and then came to us and said, hey, what do y'all want to do? At that time, we said we could afford to get everybody to 85% of what was marketed that day. So we did that at that time, and y'all passed that. to get everybody to 85% of market. That's not 100% of market, that's 85% of market, and some people pay more. But we had employees here that were saying, hey man, you know, I'm underpaid. But then when we did the study, we realized, well, some people were overpaid, some people were really way, way underpaid. And what had brought that up was in the past few years, several years, people with the political power got their people raises, and everybody else ate bologna. And those are facts. So we said, if we're going to all eat bologna, let's all eat bologna. If we're all eat steak, let's all eat steak. So we wanted to try to get everybody on the same playing field if we could. So that year y'all passed it and got everybody to 85%. That was $5.5 million. 2016, you passed at that time a resolution that said, hey, look, if our growth money is good enough, 3.5%, let's give everybody a 1.5% increase and put another 0.5% in the insurance fund so we don't have to ever raise our insurance premiums. So we did that. And then, so in 2017, we didn't have enough growth, so we didn't give anything to anybody. But y'all said, hey, look, let's change the life insurance from $10,000 to $25,000. It's only good, I guess, if you pass away, but we did that. We did that for retirees too, from $2,000 to $5,000. And then, so in 2018, you had enough growth money, so you put $586,000 towards employees for the 1.5% increase there, and 0.5% went to the insurance fund, which is $161,000. In 2019, you had enough growth money there. Things went up. Had $880,000 went to employees, $296,000 to the insurance fund. And that's when you said, hey, look, let's get everybody to, I think 80%, I'm sorry, was what we did the first time. Let's get everybody to 85% of market that year. So you did that, you moved everybody up to get them to 85, that was another $129,000. 2020, the economy was bad, so we didn't do nothing except give everybody a $3,500 bonus, because that's the money we had through ARP, that's $3.2 million. Everybody with less than a year here got $1,500. And you did add a dental insurance plan of $1,000 deductible to $2,000 deductible. In 21, you passed the pay plan again, and you tried to establish a structure at that time for them, moving them to 90%, which was 90%. And that was the last one you did. We said then 50 percentile was where we were at, that wasn't good enough. The sheriff and Wayne would come back and say, that's not good enough, I can't hire people. So we raised it to the 60th percentile. So you passed that one, that was $6.6 million to get them to employees there. 22, you gave a 2% across the board, which is, and you established and put everybody into a step system, or put them into a grade. So that costs more than just a 2%. That was $2.3 million. And then this year, you got the 2% in there, it's $1 million. So since 2012, you have put in $22.3 million. As Commissioner Chandler said, it's not enough, and we know that. But the only point I'm making is that they used to be behind needs, and you put them in front of needs. You haven't put them up there enough, and I want them to get as much as they can get. But I have to stick up. You look for your committee, but I have to look for everybody, because I'll hear from everybody for them. Chad was saying a while ago, that's going to get us in trouble. I think, if we're going to do something, let's do it for all. Now, here's the other thing I'll just say to you like this, and Aaron knows this. We said, hey, look, every 3 years is not soon enough for this pay plan. We need to do it every 2 years because wages are going up. Okay, so the pay plan will go in there, and it will do everybody's market, and it'll look at some of your employees and say, Tommy's doing pretty good. But Johnny, he's terrible. He really needs a bunch, And so it just kind of evens all that out, instead of coming back and saying, let's just give everybody a 10% across the board. You could do that this year. You could do 16. You could do whatever you wanted to. Now, would it require a revenue increase? It will, okay? So if it does require that revenue increase this year, then it probably means you may have to raise taxes. I hate to say that, but you may have to do that. And I'll have a bunch of other people get in line. Matter of fact, they've already called me and said, hey, if you're going to do that, put me in for this many cents, because I need this much at the landfill. I need this much over here. I said, okay, I got it. We'll count you in. So if you do that, and that's what you choose to do, that's okay. But it kind of defeats the purpose on the pay plan. I mean, you say, well, gosh, we're going to give everybody 16%. How's that going to hurt? Well, you're going to give somebody 16% that maybe is not that far from market. Maybe they're okay. But if you wanna do that, I'm game for that too. I'd never sit here on TV and say that I'm against my employees getting a pay raise. I'm for it, okay? But if you do that this year and you raise taxes, and that's your call, then next year when the pay plan comes in, and I've told you every year you've done the pay plan, 5.5 million in 16, and in 21 it was 6.6 million. It will take a tax increase probably then too. So now if you want to do it, raise taxes 2 years in a row, or if you want to say, hey, scratch the pay plan, just forget it. But the plan itself, as me and Officer Kurtz have argued, and I call him Officer Kurtz because that's what I knew him back when I was teaching, is that it was not a structured plan because me and him, he said, well, if I've been here 16 years, I ought to be on step 16. That was not the reason, that was not why it was created. It was created to put people in a grade and in a grade based on their years of experience, 5 and below, 6 to 10, and 10 and above. They figured all that in, and I really wish you would let me bring those people here so we could re-explain that. Because I don't want people to think, well, I was confused, I didn't vote for that. What we voted for was that we said, hey, look, let's do away with the resolution. We spoke that cleanly. Let's do away with Kenny's resolution, as I remember it, and let's give everybody 2% across the board for 16 years. And then at 16 years, we'll stop adding the 2% to their cap salary. We're still going to give them 2%, but we're going to stop it there. Now, I did, and I didn't want to argue a while ago, and I'm not going to argue, but I asked our step people, and I said, hey, do me a favor if you don't mind. Take captains, lieutenants, sergeants, corporals, patrol officers, and jail people, if you don't mind. I know you got the data. Write down what my people are making, and then write down what everybody else is making. And so he did that for me, and the people that he did that with was, I'm being quick, Tommy, I promise. Brentwood, Franklin, Gallatin, Hendersonville, Laverne, Lebanon, Mount Juliet, Murfreesboro, Smyrna, Rutherford, Williamson, and Sumner County. And I said, and so I went through there and said, and I may be wrong because Lance kind of shook his head a while ago, so I'll go back and do my studies again, but unless he's told me a field, I went back and said, okay, on step 1, and that's where most of our people are because it's not a 16-year step, it's a step 1 because we're going to start them there and moving forward and reevaluate every 2 years. So my captain, step 1 makes $90,792, unless he's wrong here. The highest one out of all those cities and counties I said makes $101,000. I'm $10,700 off on that position. I mean, if you want to be the highest paid person here, the highest paid person out of this bunch, so I just figured all the highest ones. That's where we're at. Now, that's going to be up to y'all if you want to be the highest one. Wayne was probably going to come back, and so is everybody else, the road commission, and say, I want to be the highest one too. And if you are wanting to do that, I'm all for you. I mean, but I mean, I'll have to catch the heat too, because I've been here during a tax increase and know how that goes. But anyway, so I just want you to know that we have worked hard to get somewhere. Commissioner Chandler's right, we're not where we want to be, but that's why we do it every 2 years now. And as you consider this, and I'll shut up after this, as you consider this, just consider the pay plan probably will require a revenue increase of some kind. So if you want to do, but I had reached out to Lance, and I promise to Lance and the sheriff and Major Bennett, and I brought them over and said, hey, is there a way to do what we did with WEMA? If you got 2 or 3 positions that really need hitting to get what you need hired, and we'll do that with them possibly, and maybe we can afford that without a revenue increase this year, may possibly, and then do the pay study next year. And so he was looking at that and going to get back with me. We haven't talked since that time. Yes,
That's what I wanted to ask, you know, because we said a while ago, it was stated a while ago, well, we did something with WEMA, what was it, 2 years ago?
Yeah.
Okay, explain what we did with WEMA.
So one thing we did, we got EMTs and paramedics that were really low, and so we gave them a bump to get us to where we could hire those people. And that was kind of what we did with just those, and then because they needed something.
And we were trying to open stations back up too.
Trying to open up stations.
It wasn't
Yeah.
really as much to hire as it was to, we were bleeding them so bad.
Right.
As to hopefully be able to retain them in ahead of passing the pay plan.
Yeah.
Thank you,
Well, the
Ashley.
reason was because they
Thank
were
you, sir.
leaving to go to Metro because of the pay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, so, I mean, so that was the question, but I mean, I'm for whatever you guys want to do, I work for y'all, and I'll do the legwork and the study and everything you want. I just, when I talked to Commissioner Chandler, I just, and he said, hey man, and I know he was saying, look, we just haven't done nothing, but we have done something. It ain't enough, I got it, but we've made some strides, and we need more to make. I'm with you on that.
Well, what I'd like to hear is from the sheriff, and he, if I understand what you said just then, he's gonna get back with you concerning the spots that, or the people that we really need to pay attention to. Whether it's the grade or the position, he's gonna tell you, okay, this certain position right here, we need to pay a little bit more attention to, but not necessarily this one.
And I'll let him speak to all of that. But like the corporal and the patrol here, according to what I've got, unless I'm just wrong, the highest one is only 4,400 on the corporal than what we are at the first level. Okay, and if you'll let me bring those people in to talk about why is that guy that's been here 15 years on step one, I'd love to get them to come in and just talk to you about that, because it is a difference of a pay schedule like me and you were on in Wilson County Schools, and a step system where you're just guaranteed with a 2% increase, COLA, whatever you want to call it, which is probably not enough either, but that's what we said we could afford. Because we brought 3%, if I remember right, Aaron, we brought 3% on the step, but we said, okay, we wanted to make sure that we could take it off the top and you still have growth money to give out, okay? And our growth money this year is 2.1, and 2% is going to be 1 million, so you're going to have 1.1 million left to give away, okay, to whoever needs. I mean, you could make it 5 or 6, but you wouldn't have enough money to do it. You'd have to find the revenue each year, because that's normally what our growth is, around 2 million or so, right, for the general fund. So that's what we were trying to find, something palatable that we know we could handle each year. And if you want to do more, then that's always your call. It's not our call. So I just kind of want, since we all had that conversation, I want to give it as much as we could. If you need me to do something specifically, want me to look at something, just give me a call and I'll work on it during the day for you.
I just don't want to get in the same situation that we were 2 years ago, and it being not just WEMA, but law enforcement, because it is coming.
Sure.
It's
Yeah.
coming.
Well, you're here. You're 17 vacancies in the jail. You are here.
I don't know, and I certainly believe in everything that you're saying, Tyler, but I don't know that being down 17 people in the jail is really that abnormal. I still think it needs to be addressed, but I think they're always down in the jail. I don't think that number is particularly that high.
There's security issues in the jail that I can't bring up at a public meeting. Ask them.
Understood. Yeah, I mean, again, I just have never been led to believe that number was that far off from what is normal.
And I think what he's going off of, every year we turn back about 2 million or so, and that's because we have unfilled positions out there. And I know he just dismissed 3 or 4, but I promise you, me and him had the conversation 3 weeks ago, he was down 2. Because I was just checking to see kind of where we're, didn't have anything to do with pay. Now all of a sudden, now he's down 5, and then they dismissed some people. But he had 5 that was supposed to, that he was gonna hire, that was supposed to go get their mental evaluation and their drug test, and they didn't show up.
I guess,
Yeah.
again, back to my original benchmark, to know that something is just not right when you have a 20-year-plus employee only making $55,000 a year. That's my benchmark. It's obviously not right. So what do we have to do as a county commission to fix it and make it right?
And you've done,
And I get all of y'all have done, y'all have given stuff year after year. We're supposed to. Businesses, governments give employees stuff year after year as cost of living raises. We just haven't kept up the pace.
I'll try to do a study for you to let you know what it was 5 years ago that you were paying that deputy, and you can see how far they have come. Not far enough, but how far they have come.
You know, and I don't discount what y'all done.
Yeah.
And I don't even care to know. Because I'm looking at how it looks today. Because this is where we are. The past really doesn't matter.
It really doesn't, but the only thing I think is important to know is just like today when people say, gosh, you know, we got too much growth right here, I'm flooding. You know, we flood everywhere. We don't flood just here. I mean, turn the TV on, they're flooding everywhere. So is everybody where we're at? And it's the same thing with employees. we're not just down in the sheriff's department. I mean, I can go look and I'll have people come to me that we're down other places too. I mean, Cindy has a hard time getting them to work at the convenience center. I mean, I got lots of people, I don't know if you're probably good at the road commission maybe, but I got people down. So it's not, and it's across the
Right, and
mid-state.
And I'm all for you. I'm fighting for law enforcement because I'm on that committee.
I understand it.
But
I'm with you.
I'm 110% for all of our employees in Wilson County.
Me too.
Okay, is there
And I
anything
will
else that
support
needs to come up to the committee?
Sorry to extend it.
I just need to ask, these two bond resolutions, they are as what we need right now, no changes to them, I'll put them in the packet. That's right. Good. That's all I need.
Jason Morris, thank you for showing up tonight.
Sure thing.
I'm done.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Thank you.